Our mind is our friend as well as our enemy. As the caption rightly says, it is our own mind that prompts us and enables us to do japa, worship, and other such spiritual disciplines. Again, it is the same mind that forces us to give up those things also. Such is the nature of mind. But if one persists constantly and with firmness, God will certainly come to our aid and bless us to do the right type of dhyana, says Appa. Our mind tells us to do devotion and worship, and it also tells us to utilize these to fulfill our worldly desires. It is the mind that prompts us to sit for meditation. But once we do sit for meditation, one should see and experience what all the tricks it plays upon us. It will never allow us to do our meditation in peace and proceed towards God. The only thing to which it bows its head is God's name, Shiva's name, Govinda's name, Datta's name, etc., etc. When one says firmly that he wants God and God only, it is only then that the mind accepts defeat and runs away. But people do nama japa and pray to him to grant them worldly things, which are subject to destruction. If we really crave for him only and call upon him, "O God, I don't want any of these things. I want you and you only," then the delusion for worldly things will definitely not come in our way. But who will pray and simply call upon him and not ask for anything else or for immediate fulfillment of their worldly desires? We remember him and pray to him only when we are in some difficulty. We pray to him only and then say, "Please solve my difficulty and do good to me. Please do good to my father, mother. Please cure my disease." Something like this only. I don't know who will ever remember him without any reason. In fact, without asking for anything in return, we should go on remembering him always. We shouldn't even ask for him to protect us. He will anyway do that for us. In fact, it is he who has bestowed us with everything. Whatever things and comforts we enjoy, all are given to us by him only. To utilize and enjoy things he has given us, need we ask him again? Unless we completely get rid of our desires for all other things of the world and develop genuine and intense craving for him and him only, we can never free ourselves from our delusions. The mind will be in some sort of peace only as long as we are seriously striving to fulfill some very important worldly desire. But the moment we sit and want to meditate in peace, the mind will become terrifically active and will turn the whole world topsy-turvy inside us in no time. Many people will sit for meditation, and sitting there, their minds will be going all over the world. People at home think that the person is meditating, and wishing not to create disturbance, will become quiet and attend to their work as noiselessly as possible. How can they know that the person meditating is, in fact, wandering all over the world? Such people cooperating with the meditator are in much better condition mentally than the meditator. One should not do that kind of meditation. Mind by nature is fickle and vacillating. It never gives up its nature. But all the same, we should persist in our spiritual pursuits with infinite patience. The sadhaka at the same time must be very careful about two pitfalls. When we go on doing japa, dhyana, worship, and other religious rites and sacrificial rituals over a prolonged period, the clever mind slowly begins utilizing these spiritual activities as entertainment items for its own enjoyment and deprives the sadhaka of all spiritual benefits. He should therefore be careful to see that this does not happen. And another thing, When we engage ourselves in selfless seva activities and other spiritual disciplines, slowly the mind begins feeling that it is doing all these noble and wonderful things and develops a strong, although good and virtuous ego, a sort of sattvic ego. This will again deprive the sadhaka of all spiritual benefits. For spiritual pursuits to become fruitful, such ego feeling should totally be absent in the sadhaka. It is only then that he can hope to reach God. So, a spiritual aspirant should exercise all the care and vigilance towards these two pitfalls in a spiritual path. Illumined outlook. Devotee. Appa, your devotional compositions for doing daily bhajan are universal in their appeal and are applicable to everyone. But we have our traditional conventions, customs, and practices due to our castes and religions. How are we to reconcile these, Appa? Appa. All compositions in Ghananubhavasara, which is the first published book containing Appa's devotional compositions, are based on an illumined outlook, on superconscious and enlightened experiences. They contain the essence of the wisdom of illumination and enlightenment. They are therefore above all differences, restrictions, and sectarian outlooks based on castes and religions. An illumined gnani does not belong to any particular religion or caste. He is above all such differences. Similarly, a devotee aspiring God realization and engaged in spiritual disciplines meant for that purpose should also be free from all such restrictions, differences, and distinctions, and in fact, he will be so. Those who follow meaningless, blind, and bigoted spiritual practices will naturally be devoid of true divine qualities and will derive only the benefits according to their bigoted outlook. If we really and deeply feel that we are all children of one God and hence we are all one, then it does not matter what spiritual discipline we follow externally. If one even sweeps the outer compound of a temple with genuine devotion, he will, in fact, be doing the purest and the highest form of worship. Who are the real devotees of a guru? Devotee. Appa, sometimes we see devotees of a guru adhering to and following meaningless, blind, and bigoted caste and religious restrictions, practices, and customs. Is this all right? How should sadhakas understand such people, Appa? Appa. Let people belong to any religion or caste. They should only follow the noble teachings and cultivate the qualities of their original prophet or founder or real saints and gurus of their order. They should never adhere to or follow meaningless customs or practices of their faiths, believing them to be the original teachings or pristine and pure customs. If they blindly follow meaningless and bigoted spiritual practices, that will, in the minds of people who see such persons, give rise to only serious doubts instead of renewed faith. There are any number of ways to reach God. We have read and heard of any number of such examples in religion as well as in history. We have heard so many instances in which God has given His darshan to the devotee in the form worshipped by him. When this is the fact, there is no sense in asking and compelling people to worship God in a particular form or in a particular way only. That would be sheer bankruptcy of intelligence. God would certainly not shower His grace on such proponents also. All genuine gurus tell that God is all-pervading. Having such a guru right in front of them, if the followers are not able to understand this basic tenet, it only means that they are blind to realities. That all-powerful God is the guru of all gurus. He is the Jagat Guru, the guru for the whole of this creation. He does not belong to any particular caste or religion or sect. He is free from all man-made concepts, rules, and restrictions. One who really craves for God will also be free from all such restrictions and bondages. A Mahatma, a real guru, speaks only his words, or rather, he only speaks through such Mahatmas and gurus. Some people desire to go to Mahatmas, get enlightenment by them, and reach God. Some others look upon them as the guru of their religion, caste, or sect, etc. With their minds constricted and polluted like this, they forget what unfortunate fate awaits them. They have become such slaves to their traditions, customs, and conventions that they have lost their ability to look and think beyond them. Then what happens is that, though they are leading the so-called religious and spiritual lives, they will in actuality be very far from real spirituality. Some ascetics, though they live in ashramas and mutts and monasteries, they are also greatly troubled by these blind traditions and customs. Gradually, they begin feeling that it is best to leave the ashram and be alone and free to do the appropriate sadhana. Meanwhile, they would have got so firmly attached to their ashrama that they find it impossible to free themselves from the ashram stronghold. They would in fact not be having the freedom that even the ordinary devotees enjoy there. They will not find the time to attend to the sadhana that is absolutely necessary for their own upliftment. Giving lectures and making preparations for them consume all their time. They will be forced to keep themselves very, very busy, getting new and better idols made, doing community service, etc. Even ordinary devotees will be much better than them. At least they listen to the pravachanas with attention and sincerely try to mold their lives according to what they understand from them. But God knows everyone's devotion. He goes on rewarding them according to the genuineness and intensity of their devotion. Everyone's devotion and all sincere prayers done with real devotion reach Him. Hence, it is enough if we develop within ourselves real and deep devotion and live our lives in the light of that devotion. Though He has no eyes, He sees everything. With no ears, He hears everything. If one develops pure, intense, and supreme devotion, He runs to such devotees and hugs them. Give all priority to Guru Darshan. For everything, time should come. Only then will things happen. One may have a desire to go and see the Guru, but he goes on postponing. He decides to finish his urgent business on hand and then go. Will his business and family problems ever end? Will he be able to get the darshan of his Guru if he goes whenever he wants? Will the Guru be available always? And why will the Guru make himself available to such type of devotees at their whims and fancies? Leaving all things as they are, if one thinks within himself, let things go to dogs or be ruined, I must go and see my Guru first, and goes to the Guru immediately there and then, he will not only have Guru Darshan, all his other problems will also get solved. If people do not have such strong desire and yearning, it does not matter whether they go or not, because even if they go to their Guru, they will not get what they want. Sabari, the well-known devotee of Rama in Ramayana, waited in the forest for any number of years anxiously just to have the darshan of Lord Rama. She had no other desire except to have her beloved Rama's darshan. Her love for Rama was so pure and selfless. But nowadays, people expect their gurus to wait for the arrival of their devotees, and they think of going to him only after all their family and other problems and worries are resolved. When they come, their talks as well as their behaviors betray how much priority and importance they give to their family and worldly problems and how little to God and spirituality. The fever of worldliness has caught up with them. They are so engrossed in their worldliness that they do not at all mind being ruined and destroyed by it. Even if they see before their very eyes a rare golden opportunity to end their human sorrow once for all and gain everlasting peace and bliss by getting liberation and freeing themselves from the shackle of repeated births and deaths, they still prefer this meaningless worldly enjoyments and miseries. Even if a guru capable of granting liberation is in their vicinity, it is not everyone that takes advantage of such an opportunity. Also, everyone cannot recognize a guru and his greatness. Everyone cannot get inspired by a burning desire to go and see such a Mahatma. Generous and lofty life. Once there was a king. He ruled his kingdom well and did lot of good works during his life. He went to heaven after death. He remained in heaven for a long time. After his virtue got exhausted, time came for him to return back to earth. He was unwilling to leave the heaven. He inquired enlightened wise men there what he should do to continue to live in heaven. He came to know that if he finds someone living on earth still remembering him, he can return back to heaven. So he came to the earth to find out if there was some such person living on the earth. By that time, even all his grandchildren had died. Wherever he inquired, he found no one still remembering him. Finally, he found one man who told him, "The king you are speaking about, it seems, had done lot of good to our ancestors. My grandfather was always telling us about the munificence of that king. We always remember him daily before taking our food." Before that person finished talking, the Pushpak jet plane from heaven, it appears, landed near the king to take him back to heaven. Therefore, we should live in such a way that at least people living around in our vicinity will remember us for a long time after our death. What is the use of living a life that even our neighbors forget about us in no time? Can people ever forget Jesus, Buddha, Rama, Krishna, etc.? Can anyone erase from the minds of people their memory? Even after eons, their names, their lives, and their philosophies will ever remain fresh in people's minds. Anyone who earns such fame because of his virtue will become really immortal. All people can lead lofty lives, but when will this become possible? When one is able to love one and all equally, when one is able to sacrifice his all for the good of all. But when one lives for himself and his family only and becomes utterly selfish on that account, his life will be in vain, both here when he is alive and hereafter after his demise. Even if one cannot become very famous by his exemplary life, it is quite sufficient if he is remembered by at least all people known to him long after his death because of his good life. But the easiest way to attain liberation in this very life is to become dear to one's guru and earn his blessings. Then it does not matter at all if he is not able to earn the admiration and approbation of people and the world. It is enough if he earns the grace and blessings of his Guru. His life will then become most holy and sacred. If his Guru is genuinely happy and proud with regard to him, it is as good as if he has already attained God realization. He will definitely become one with God. One who is able to please his Guru and endear himself to him, his whole being would have already become full with all divine qualities. Unless a devotee has risen above all differences between man and is completely rid of his egoism, free from all feelings of me and mine, Guru will not approve, appreciate, and admire him. The world will definitely call such a devotee a great ascetic, a saint, a Mahatma. People may not be knowing the goodness, purity, and holiness of such a devotee, but the Guru will know, and it is enough if the Guru knows. In a devotional song, a devotee says this to his Guru: "Let people say anything, what do I care? Let the whole world unite against me, what does it matter? Where is there any fear when you, the Guru, are there for me?" It is enough if one attains such a state and lives his life accordingly. What kind of devotees will the Guru like? Guru is all-powerful. He tests his devotee by giving him everything he wants. He also tests him by not giving him anything. But he always does everything only for the good of the devotee. He does these things only to make the devotee's faith in the Guru firm and unshakable, only to make the devotee paripurna, meaning full in all respects. But because the Guru gives the devotee all he wants, if the devotee continues to worship him only for the sake of his worldly desires and wants, then the Guru will stop fulfilling his desires. A real devotee should develop such intense craving for his Guru that he should always be feeling and saying within himself, "Let everything of mine, my status in society, my possessions, everything go to ruin. I don't care. O Guru, I want you and you only. I definitely don't want anything else. You make me a beggar if you want. What does it matter if I lose everything as long as I have you for my protection?" A real devotee must come to such a state of mind. Only when a devotee develops such type of craving for his Guru, he will be able to know his Guru's real identity, that he is God himself in human form. Such a devotee only can have self-realization, liberation, and eternal bliss, everything. As Guru goes on testing his devotees, only devotees with real craving for God realization will remain with him. The rest gradually drop off. People who had become his devotees only for fulfilling their materialistic desires go to other gurus and other places when they find that their guru is not able to fulfill their desires. Like this, they keep on moving from one guru to another guru, from one place to another place. They will be full of disbelief and mistrust wherever they go. How can such people ever know the greatness of gurus and mahatmas? How can they know that all gurus and all mahatmas are one and the same, the one God in different forms? Guru is one only. He is always the same. His one and only interest is always the upliftment of his devotees. Upliftment does not mean fulfillment of one's materialistic wants, desires, and luxuries. A devotee who is firmly convinced that whatever Guru tells and does is for his upliftment only, has in fact already crossed over this uncrossable ocean of human sorrow. While a devotee is being tested by the Guru, that may cause him all sorts of unimaginable troubles, pains, and miseries. But the devotee learns invaluable lessons from them. He reforms himself because of such experiences. He rids himself of all his drawbacks and blemishes, of all harmful and undesirable traits in his behavior and character, and emerges out pure, pristine, and shining with divine glow. How the Guru tests his devotees and how he liberates them. If a devotee happens to be a die-hard traditionalist, a stickler to Puritanism and conservatism, and on this score develops pride and haughtiness, feeling within himself that he is so pure and is doing so much nama japa and other spiritual disciplines, do you know what the Guru will do? He will appear before him in some form or the other and makes it crystal clear to him that his ideas and feelings are totally wrong, and that whatever he is doing is not the only way to reach God, besides being insufficient and improper. In other words, he knocks some sound wisdom and hard truths into his head. He makes him understand that if he proceeds in his old way, he will definitely not reach God. Why does the Guru do this? He does this to free the devotee from his self-imposed constrictions, hedges, and hindrances. He does this to break all the protective walls the devotee has built around himself. He does this to make the devotee's mind and heart free, vast, expansive, and boundless. Why make worship, recitations, japa, etc. alone one's narrow world, when the real world, the sky, and the infinite expanse is there, spread all around him? Why live in a small, strong castle built inside a massive fort, when the whole free world is there? When will the devotee learn to live in the truth that the human being is the same everywhere and that the whole of humanity is really one? Therefore, the Guru mercilessly breaks down and pulverizes all the barriers around the devotee and makes him really free from all shackles and man-made bondages. There will be another kind of devotees. They proclaim they really don't care a wee bit about all these age-old ways of worship, japa, tapa, etc., and that they are pure Advaitins. They say that God is really nameless and formless, and all this idol worship is a huge hoax being played upon innocent and gullible people. Do you know what God will do to such people? He makes them bend their head and pay homage before every temple and idol they come across, and worship stones, trees, and what not. You all know that Shankaracharya had reached the pinnacle of Advaita. Guru appeared before him in the form of an untouchable outcast and made him realize that God is there in all forms, although he is formless. It was only afterwards that Shankaracharya established his centers and installed deities there. There was no need of all these things for himself. He had really reached the pinnacle of spirituality. But God brought about this transformation in him. He did this because ordinary people can develop and nurture their devotion to God only with the help of temples and deities. For their sake, he made the Acharya do these things. Guru is all-powerful. He is the Lord of all organs in man. Where and how people go wrong, and how and in what way they should be corrected, he knows everything. Man becomes highly egoistic unknowingly. The reason for this may be anything. That he is very pure and holy, is always and under all circumstances truthful, never harms anyone, is always fair and just to everyone, etc. Soon he comes to feel strongly that he has none to fear, not even God. When the devotee reaches such a state, do you know what Guru does? He will make the devotee commit some heinous and unpardonable sin. Then the devotee will cry, repent, and wail to no end. He will not even be able to share his grief with anyone else also. Finally, he reforms himself totally and rises to new and glorious heights. Like this, the Guru will do wonderful things. He is all-knowing and all-powerful. He is limitless in every way. So the best, the safest, and the only way left to the devotee is to surrender himself to his Guru totally. If the devotee entertains in his mind that he knows everything, or that he is superior to others, and that in fact he is supreme and superb, etc., he will be committing a grave and grievous error. The one and only way really left for him is to totally surrender to the Guru and pray to him in all earnestness and humility, saying, "O Guru, I am only your servant. I will obey your will always. I will never go against your wishes. You give or don't give. You are everything to me." When the devotee surrenders to him like this, then the Guru comes and resides in the heart of the devotee permanently. That is why the Guru is glorified as an ocean of compassion, an ocean of love, grace, and mercy, protector of the helpless and the destitute, lover of devotees, etc. A devotee should know that whatever pain, trouble, misery, and grief he suffers in his life have all come only for his good. Constantly remembering him through his nama japa, the devotee should always lead a pious, holy, and virtuous life. He knows everything. He knows how much the devotee craves for him, how strenuously and sincerely he is doing his sadhana, how he is considering the Lord to be the supreme truth as well as his very life and breath, everything.